There's going to be a lot of reviews this season on people doing dumb stuff when the key doesn't disband the way they want, but we are going to try to keep rotating in fun and interesting runs. So we got another good one this season right here. Another one that actually reminds me of something that was pretty famous and happened on this channel on our live stream. So we're doing a Flooded Gate plus 10. All right, this is pretty early in the season, obviously, so these keys can still be pretty hard, but we do know that, especially the keys that were present in last season, you wouldn't expect there to be a lot of confusion. At least I wouldn't. You wouldn't expect there to be a lot of things that aren't known. And I think this one especially, like, there's not really much has changed in terms of what people are pulling, especially out of the gate. So we actually start the dungeon as the tank, who the person who's submitting this, telling them I'm going to pull big and then we're going to bloodlust, and we're just not going to do it. I actually am really shocked that this is how this key starts, because on a 10, for people to not be bloodlust, and look at this. So just very clearly need to articulate what actually occurs here. They do bloodlust, but you can see the icon on the screen. It's actually drums. Somebody uses fucking drums. So we just straight up don't blow us, and unfortunately this is going to start our problems here for our hunter friend. Actually, I'm really confused by what happens after we die, though. This part really doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I guess this must just be on the route or something like that, so we just wipe. I don't think they killed anything. In fact, they're not even done dying to it. So instead of going back up or waiting to go back up, everything just resets, and we just come over here now. The Resto Druid is over here with us, but they just like instantly get dead. Like, I don't even know what the fuck just happened there. That guy almost just got one shot. All 3 snipes are on Beef Daddy. The guy just chose that name, not actually made of beef. He looks like he's made of paper, and he is, look at how hard this guy gets hit by a Mythic plus 10 trash mob. All 3 on him, so yeah, it's a lot, but okay. He gets hit for about 95% of his health. Doesn't end up dying, but doesn't end up healing either. Just fucking like backpedaling over and over again, and then dies from the subsequent cast. I guess when you get hit this hard as a healer, you probably just go into like pure panic mode. But look at his health. It just doesn't go up. He barely heals himself in that time, and then just gets finished off by one other snipe. The other 2 were actually on the Death Knight that time. So those mobs are done doing their best Frederick Zoller impression, and now we are on to, I guess, just a smaller version of the first pack. We're just gonna like go up here and do it this way instead. We're also on this frog mount, which I just like, it just looks so derpy, dude. What is this from? Is this from BFA? This is an interesting pull I don't think I've ever seen before. We're gonna pull these divers. These are the 2 I normally pull into the pack that we were just fighting, and we're gonna go over here and look for more snipers, even though we had such a traumatic experience from them before. Obviously that's not gonna be a problem now with 5 people here, but interesting little pack here. Kind of like this, actually. Anyway, have a look at the DPS chart throughout the run. You're gonna see something very noticeable here. Reliably, we have 1 damage dealer doing damage. The other 2 are basically not doing anything. I think at times the Warlock's probably gonna look passable, but the Hunter the whole time is just like, what the actual hell is going on here? I mean, we just did 3 million DPS as a tank on that pack. That is not even that much. I mean, it's kind of a lot, I guess, but it's not really that much. And then these guys are doing sub 3 million on like 5 mobs. Really, really crazy at this point in the season. Here's the next pack. Watch it again. This is actually getting kind of remarkable in my eyes. Another pretty big pull coming up here, an important one right before the boss. Death Knight's going to immediately burst incredibly hard, and Warlock is just not. That's the opener for the Warlock. We're doing sub 2 million on the opener. Hunter's doing sub 1 million in the opener, doing less than a few 100K at that point. You can count on one hand the packs where the Hunter competes with the other 2 players. It's kind of weird, and this is ultimately going to be the purpose of the review, because there is something going on here. I'm not sure when or where it starts, but there's something going on here that you guys are going to absolutely facepalm at when it's finally revealed. Also going to have our 7th death while we're fighting this, and of course it's going to be the Hunter just kind of standing in a saw blade, I guess. I mean, you can see the saw blade debuff go on. I think that must be him there. But yeah, it looks like the guy's just standing in the blade and it just doesn't move. So yeah, that's got to be him right there. He goes down. That is our 7th death. We're going to have our 8th death here on the fight. Hunter doing all right, beating the tank this time, so not too bad, but we have them at very different health pools. Yet again, this always seems to happen. Druid just doesn't live again. I think he runs into a bomb or something like that. I don't even know what that is. He's got the dot on him, okay, and then we can't see what actually happens. It looks like, I guess he's got that dispellable debuff. That's the dot, is that right? So he just dies. Like, I mean, I can't even commentate on what happens. It happens so fast. Another debuff goes out. Watch this, by the way. Death Knight gets it, and just again, boom. Like, oh my god, are these people wearing gear? Could have 1 more death here. Again, Beef Daddy is gonna go down like he's wearing absolutely nothing. You can actually see him. He's right over the DPS chart right now. This is actually great. I guess the boss is just this powerful. Okay, you see quick shot on Beef Daddy. It actually one-shots him. Look at Beef Daddy gets hit. Boom. Down. Down. One shot. just down. We're gonna pretty much have a solo save situation here, and we're gonna walk out of here with 12 deaths. Also, I want to go back really quick and make it clear that they actually do use the Hunter Bloodlust on this boss. I should have mentioned that, but yeah, we do Bloodlust on that boss, so we don't have it up for Big Mother. Usually if you go that direction, the goal is to lust for Big Mother. At least that's the way I do it. Maybe that's not what people are doing now, but yeah, so we're pulling Big Mother. We're gonna have our 13th death here. Anybody want to place a bet on who dies here? We have a mechanic going on, Sonic Boom. It's on the Hunter right now. You see the Hunter standing directly under that like DBM bar or whatever that is, Big Wigs bar. Here it comes. There's a big Sonic pulse shooting at the guy. Vote down below what you think is gonna happen. If you voted he's not gonna fucking move and he's just gonna get pushed all the way back into the trash over there, I guess you win. You win something. I don't know what you win. We are gonna battle res him here, so we're gonna get him up. We're gonna continue the fight with him. Gets res like really low health, so almost dies again, but he's gonna get restored to health there. Fight is continuing, and we're gonna do one of my favorite things. This is actually like a tangent to my favorite thing. I actually don't know how this even happens here, but we are gonna aggro the snipers from down below. Typically when this occurs, it's because somebody gets pushed down there. I think what happens here is the Frost Death Knight hits it. You can see like a little blue splash, but all of a sudden, yeah, it looks like it's some ice or something like that. So we actually aggro these by accident. So we have snipers back in the building. Bradley Cooper over there shooting the Hunter. We're also gonna have Sonic Boom on the Hunter again, fighting the snipers with the boss during the burn phase, actually doing a lot of damage. This is really scary. We almost have multiple deaths here, but we do get through it. And the Hunter has lived long enough. It's time for our 14th death again. Here it comes. This time the Sonic Boom is on the Death Knight. Death Knight's gonna move out of it, no problem. Hunter is deaf, I guess. It's probably the situation here because it's a Sonic Boom. He's deaf from the first one, so he's actually just gonna get carried away, just wistfully taken away by this thing and just doesn't move out. It's just really crazy, man. Watch how long this boss actually becomes shield for. We gotta look at this. It is going to start the shield here at 2016 on the timer. We do not kill the final adds to remove the shield. I mean, you can already see how long it's been. This boss has had the shield on for 50 seconds. 21:03. That mob is finally dead. We have another fucking emissary spawning. Dude, these low keys with the affix, my god, dude, I cannot stand this affix. I'm so glad that we are above 12 and how easy that was to get past that, because that was awful. Hats off. A big round of applause for these guys to actually kill that boss under those circumstances is really crazy. And look at the comment from the Death Knight. After all that nonsense, the guy dies twice to just not moving out of a mechanic. We aggro trash, have tons and tons of damage taken from that. The Death Knight says, target the affix. Are you serious? That's what you want to bring up right now? A little throwback here to the last video. We're going to say go left. Oh god, do we really have to say that on a 10 in season 3? This is Prop Pally though, bro. Holy shit, they look scary. Watch this first melee. Oh my god, that's not even the tank breaker. The melee. Oh my god, look at the damage. This is insane damage taken here. Sludge Claws is going to hit this guy for about 90% of his health. Oh my god. Then we have this like giant full health Absorbon. I don't know what I'm looking at right now, but man, this is scary, dude. Prop Pally looks squishy. Probably an unsung thing we should have paid more attention to though is this affix. They just are going to fail to kill it again. Maybe the Death Knight was right to question it. These affixes just suck, man. It's really sad. We had a good system in the game that didn't affect bosses. They removed that system because people complained about it, and now we have constant week after week keys submitted to me where people are not doing the affixes on bosses, and it's just making bosses way, 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 way harder than they should be. Kind of crazy, but they're actually going to get through that. It doesn't even matter. I don't know what it actually does. Also, didn't Bloodlust there. I mean, this is getting ridiculous now. So yeah, really, really weird Bloodlust usages. Again, the Hunter's the only one who's going to do it, and we're just not doing it. Death Knight's going to comment on something. He says, Hunter, please swap. Clearly talking about the affix here, so this must be part of the issue. We have the Hunter just not doing the affix, I guess, quote unquote. Hunter is going to get hit by the frontal there, but he is going to live it. We're still sitting comfortable with 15 deaths. One more call to the DPS chart. Again, Hunter losing to a tank on this pack. Everybody else doing like really high damage. We are now a pack and a half after the Death Knight made the comment on swapping to the affix. Hunter gets hit by yet another frontal and doesn't die to it, and finally has read what was said to him. In response to that, he says, copy. All right. Kind of wild. We get down here, 15 deaths. That's a good amount of deaths, but it is not a 12. And we are not upgrading this key. No real, I mean, I guess the first pull of the dungeon was really bad, but no major issues in the dungeon outside of that. Again, DPS chart. Also have a look at the party frames. We are going to have another Hunter death. This is actually very similar to the last time we reviewed this key with the Hunter. You see him here. He's in 2 lines. He's going to move out of both of them this time, but then there's going to be 2, and he moves out of this one into that one, and then just dies from that. Dies from that on a 10, so he's down. That's got to be his, what, like 7th or 8th death? I have no idea. Not done dying, though. He's going to get the battle res here. Comes up with like really low health. I guess he gets res in melee or something. It looks like we res him as the tank here, which is kind of unfortunate, actually. Yeah, we res him as the tank. He is going to come up in the middle of melee, and there's now just 2 beams coalesce right on top of him, and he just doesn't even try to move. He's down again. They start laughing at him. Oh boy, boy, that's not the comment we want to see after that. The druid is laughing at him. He goes, ha ha ha. And the tank says this. Yeah, I mean, you kind of res him in melee. I don't know. I mean, you should definitely not res and die, but that's kind of unfortunate. Hunter actually replies with my bad. That's kind of sad. I kind of feel bad for him now. Paladin says, you single-handedly bricked this key. I guess so, huh? I don't know. Do we say that? I guess so, because there's really no major issues in this dungeon. It's just he does so little damage throughout the whole run, dies so many times. I mean, gotta be 10 deaths at this point. I guess not switching to the emissary, although we don't get to see any proof of that. I imagine it's probably true. I guess we're like tilted at this point. I don't even know. We get stunned, and then what do we get? Knocked back into another stun or something? I don't even know. We're stunned now for 8 seconds or something like that. Remarkable that we are still alive. Absolutely remarkable. But we keep getting hit by more mechanics. Also gonna have another emissary, not even come close to die. Looks like it's probably about 25 to 30% health there. Again, DPS chart. I mean, we had 2 deaths sustained on the fight, but this guy is actually doing sub 1 million DPS now, losing to the tank DPS. The tank's only not even doing 800k, by the way. So to be losing to that's very low. We're gonna finish this dungeon about 4 minutes over timer. Again, might as well have one last affix not get killed. We loot an improvised Sephorium Peacemaker, and then we get this. This is after the key, I guess. I'm not sure why we like edited it in, but we edited it into the video, so that makes my job a little bit easier. The hunter says, do you need the trinket with like what? Is that an upside down exclamation point? I'm not sure what that actually is. We link, this is the overall DPS chart we link here, it looks like. 6.15 from the Death Knight. Warlock actually recovered at 5.5, and then the hunter does 3.35. Nearly half of what the Death Knight did. Nearly half. That is bad. We've not seen it that bad in our keys, but we've seen some bad ones this season. But there's a reason for it. Wait until I show you what he says in response to this. My gun is broken. I couldn't hit. Is red. And again, this actually happened to us in a workshop. I believe it was in Shadowlands. Season 4 of Shadowlands. Might have been BFA. I actually don't know when it happened, but regardless, it happened to us in a workshop where a hunter's bow broke and he actually crafts an heirloom. So that did not happen in this key. That would have been way funnier. You see the chat after that. Death Knight says, then repair or say something. We have mounts that can do that. Obviously, we're in an outside dungeon. Who knows how long this has been going on for? You guys tell me if you have any indication of how long this has actually been going on for. Let me know, but that is something I don't think I ever thought I would see. The guy's response to why he did half the damage of another damage dealer, he says, my gun was broken. Okay. They also link the emissary damage. It's actually nowhere near as bad as they were making it sound. I guess the Death Knight just carries the other. The Warlock just also not helping. But then the hunter says one more insane comment. Insane comment to end this review. One of the craziest reviews I've ever seen. He said his gun was broken. He wasn't able to use his abilities, and he didn't realize that until he saw his DPS chart. Okay. I don't even know how to wrap this one up, so that's going to be it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the great submission. This is an incredible season so far. We have had so many insane submissions already. I'm actually backlogged already, so we got a lot more to come. Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.